Hi, Manna Church. I'm Jeff Christensen, the site pastor for our Hope Mills site. Welcome to day 10 of our 21 days of prayer and fasting for Pray First in the year 2020. Today, I want to talk to you from the last night of Jesus' life. After his Last Supper with his disciples, when he walked to the Garden of Gethsemane and prayed desperately for deliverance from what he knew was coming. We find this account 3 different times in the Gospels, but I want to read to you specifically from Matthew 26, verse 39. It says, "He went on a little farther and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, 'My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine.'" There have been some times in my life where I felt like I could relate to Jesus here. Maybe you've felt that too. Have you ever wanted something so much, so desperately, and then realized somewhere along the line that that just wasn't what God had for you? You've probably experienced something like that before. Do you remember how it made you feel to arrive at that realization? Do you remember your initial reaction? If you're anything like me, it probably wasn't a reaction that you're proud of. Now, it'd be overly dramatic to compare our situation to the one that Jesus found himself in Matthew 26:39. None of us has ever faced anything as terrible as he did that night, and I'm pretty sure most of us have never come anywhere near sweating blood from stress. Nonetheless, we've all found our desires at odds with God's will at times, and we've experienced distress from that, and we've wrestled with God in prayer about it, and it's in this wrestling in prayer that's really the crucial thing. It's the necessary part where God begins to work in us in the middle of our resistance. Now, when we find our will at odds with God's will and we take it to Him in prayer, most of us probably don't experience an immediate change of heart. But it's in prayer that we give God access to our heart, sometimes even when we don't necessarily mean to. We simply start that conversation with Him, and He begins that change in us. It's in prayer that we're reminded that God is infinitely wise, that He sees the beginning from the end, and that He is always good, and everything He does is good and always right. And it's in that place that we begin to relinquish our will, our desires to Him. All of this comes about through prayer. When we start that conversation with God about the conflict that we're experiencing with Him in our heart, we give Him access to us, and He lovingly begins working that change in us. Simply put, in prayer, God works in us so that our wills surrender to Him, so that we choose His will. And it's in this that we are transformed. Maybe you're wrestling with God about something right now. You want it desperately, but you know He has something different for you. Take it from someone who understands exactly how that feels. God is not the one who needs to change. So keep the conversation with God open, because it's in that conversation that He will meet you, love on you, and begin that work of transformation in you so that you find joy in His will and experience His best for your life. Good to be with you today, Manna Church. Keep up the prayer, keep up the fast. Only good can come from it. God bless you.